In the ancient hills of Judah, long before David became king, before he was known as a warrior or a poet, he was simply a young shepherd tending sheep in the quiet fields near Bethlehem. No one could have imagined that this boy, armed with nothing more than a sling and a few smooth stones, would one day face a warrior whose very name struck fear across nations. This is the story of David and Goliath, an encounter that changed the future of Israel, shaped the rise of a king, and became one of the most iconic moments in biblical history. To understand the battle between David and Goliath, we must first understand the world that Israel lived in at the time. The nation was struggling for survival. On one side were the Israelites, still developing their identity under King Saul. On the other side were the Philistines, a powerful group of warriors who lived along the coastal plains. The Philistines had advanced weapons made of iron, well-trained soldiers, and a reputation for brutality. Their armies often pushed inland, threatening the Israelite tribes in the hill country. One region in particular became a recurring battleground, the Valley of Elah. A wide open field surrounded by two gentle slopes, this valley was a perfect place for armies to face one another. When the Philistines marched into Israel's territory once again, they camped on one hill, and the Israelites took position on the opposite ridge. The two armies stared at each other across the valley floor, preparing for battle. But instead of launching a full attack, the Philistines sent out a single warrior to challenge Israel. His name was Goliath, a giant of a man who towered over ordinary soldiers. Ancient texts describe him as nearly 3 meters tall, wearing armor so heavy that no normal soldier could bear it. His bronze helmet gleamed in the sunlight. His massive spear was as thick as a weaver's beam, and the iron point of that spear alone weighed several kilograms. Goliath was not just large. He was trained, experienced, and confident. He issued a challenge. Rather than both armies fighting, each side would send one champion. The winner would decide the fate of the battle. For 40 days, Goliath stepped forward morning and evening, shouting his challenge. And for 40 days, the Israelites trembled. Even King Saul, who was himself tall and strong, did not dare to face him. The fear of the Israelite army grew with each passing day. Meanwhile, in the town of Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David was tending sheep for his father Jesse. David was the youngest of 8 sons, far from being seen as a warrior. But David had already been shaped by the hardships of outdoor life. He knew how to protect his flock from lions and bears. He had developed accuracy with a sling, a weapon that, in the ancient world, could be as deadly as a modern handgun when used by an expert. One day, David's father sent him to the battlefield with food for his older brothers. David arrived just as Goliath stepped forward to issue his daily challenge. The Israelites again drew back in fear, but David stood still, listening carefully. Something in Goliath's words stirred him, not just the physical threat, but the insults directed at the people of Israel and their God. David asked the soldiers around him, "Who is this man who dares to defy the armies of the living God?" His boldness surprised everyone. Word quickly reached King Saul, who summoned David. When the young shepherd stood before the king, Saul was confused. How could this boy fight a warrior like Goliath? David explained that he had protected his sheep from predators, and that the same God who delivered him then would deliver him now. Saul reluctantly agreed, likely because no other man had stepped forward in 40 days. He offered David his own armor, but when David tried it on, it was heavy and unfamiliar. David could barely move. He immediately removed it and chose instead the weapons he knew best: a staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones from the brook. Armed with nothing more than this simple gear, David walked down into the Valley of Elah. The Israelites watched in disbelief. The Philistine army laughed, and Goliath himself was insulted. He shouted, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" He cursed David and promised to destroy him. But David did not retreat. He answered with confidence, "You come to me with a sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord." David believed the battle was more than physical. It was a test of courage and faith. As Goliath moved forward, David ran toward him. Without hesitation, David reached into his bag, took out one smooth stone, placed it in his sling, and launched it with expert precision. The stone flew through the air with deadly force and struck Goliath on the forehead. The giant staggered and fell face first to the ground. The earth shook as he collapsed. The valley went silent. David walked up to Goliath, took the giant's own sword, and ended the battle. The Philistine army panicked and fled, while the Israelites surged forward, chasing them from the valley. David's victory changed everything. He quickly became known across Israel, and his courage marked him as a rising leader. But the aftermath of this battle was about more than military victory. David's defeat of Goliath signaled a shift in power. It foreshadowed David's future as king, a future where he would unite the tribes of Israel, expand the kingdom, and write songs and psalms that would be remembered for generations. Historically, this story also reveals the contrast between ancient forms of combat. Goliath was a traditional warrior, strong in close combat, heavily armored, and dependent on brute force. David represented a new kind of fighter, quick, strategic, skilled from a distance. Sling warriors were highly respected in ancient armies. A well-thrown stone could pierce armor or kill at long range. Goliath never saw the threat coming because he expected a sword fight, not a ranged attack. The Valley of Elah itself still exists today. Visitors can walk the same path David walked, pick up smooth stones from the same stream, and stand where the Israelite and Philistine armies once faced each other. The geography described in the story fits the actual landscape, adding realism to the narrative. Today, the story of David and Goliath is known far beyond religious traditions. It has become a symbol of underdogs overcoming impossible odds. It speaks of courage in the face of fear, confidence in the face of intimidation, and the power of skill and faith over brute strength. David was never supposed to win. By human standards, he had no chance. But the story shows that sometimes the smallest and least expected individual can change the course of history. David's victory was not the end of his journey, but the beginning. He would go on to become one of the greatest kings of Israel, and this moment, with a sling and a stone, was the first step toward that destiny. This is the story of David and Goliath, an ancient battle that continues to inspire people thousands of years later.